that time, when in Shantiniketan, after having taught myself with that realistic orientation,
Uh-huh.
you know, I had developed a kind of ego
Okay.
that
Uh-huh.
this skill had given me.
Uh-huh.
See, I am understanding this way.
Okay.
Gradually, I never knew that this has, kind of conglomerated me into a egocentric energy, okay, which had a wrong notion that this realism is all about art.
Okay.
When I come across with the distortion of Bengal school, Shantiniketan, later Shantiniketan school,
Later. Yeah.
in conjunction with their direct referencing with the modernism,
Right.
all the stalwarts paintings of modernism, coming from Picasso till Gross, George Gross.
Okay.
So all these things, and then the things coming from Baroda,
Okay.
that congested space, some at least 10-15 people will be there in one frame,
Uh-huh.
that kind of spatial understanding of
Right.
pictorial space.
It's totally different from what you
Yes.
have in Shantiniketan.
So all those things had a question in me,
Okay.
because I used to then for the first time I asked my teacher there, Dada, abstract art maneta ki?
True.
So he said,
If you can just say this thing in English also, because our viewers will not understand. That means you asked,
I asked, Dada, abstraction maneta ki?
Mother, what do you mean by abstraction?
What do you mean by abstraction?
That's what you asked to your teacher.
My teacher.
Uh-huh.
He said, Vimurto kala,
Okay. Okay.
which means Vimurt kala, means which has no form.
Which is no formless.
Yeah, the formless. Then I was still, stubborn on asking him more and more. He said he was tired actually of me. Then finally he said, you will not understand. Then the very challenge that I will not understand
Pushed you towards
was
that.
the spark to go to this
Right.
dark sea.
Right.
Dark sea, I say, because there was never a guidance towards abstraction
Right.
in India.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay?
Right.
And you'll be astounded to know that
Uh-huh.
this darkness has given me the inspiration to write that thesis book.
Your PhD.
Yeah.
So what's your PhD is about? It's about abstraction only.
Yes.
And what is the title of the PhD?
Title of the PhD is Abstraction in Indian Contemporary Art.
Okay.
Study of 5 artists.
Okay. Okay. And you
And
just
those-
completed your PhD in 2020 or
2020.
2020?
Yeah.
Okay.
September 2020.
Okay.
And then we have, actually I submitted in 2020 September,
Uh-huh.
but then the COVID-19 was there.
Right.
Dean was not present.
Right.
He was run down with COVID and all. So finally, officially, it was kept there only, and they submitted it in 21 January.
Okay.
From then, it has to be counted for the
Okay.
YY and all. So, what I was telling?
I think you were talking about abstraction in Shantiniketan.
Yes.
And how things were there, like different artists. You're
Exactly.
talking about the late abstract artists from Shantiniketan.
Yes.
And you're comparing it with Baroda's.
True.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I told you about that childhood memory, the paradox I have been growing with.
Uh-huh.
The paradox was why a real cannot be the modern, and the why modern cannot be real.
Okay.
So this was the dichotomy with which I grew, and it was in my subconscious.
Okay.
When I've been encountering art itself.
Okay.
or practicing art itself.
Okay.
When I entered Shantiniketan,
Uh-huh.
within a year itself, I asked my teacher
Mm-hmm.
that what is abstraction, Dada?
Right.
Then this was the answer I got,
Uh-huh.
and it was kind of
Yeah, even you asked what is abstraction. He said
Yes.
Vimurta Kala,
Vimurta Kala,
formless.
formless. So I said, if I am drawing something without form,
Mm-hmm.
then also it is having a form.
Right.
How can you say there is no form?
Mm-hmm.
That was the problem actually.
Mm-hmm.
That was the question unknowingly I was asking to the entire fraternity of abstract painters,
Mm-hmm.
that are they not repeating themselves?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So I pledged
Uh-huh.
that if only
Mm-hmm.
I will
Mm-hmm.
turn into an abstract painter,
Uh-huh.
which I used to hate actually.
Okay.
I used to be very critical,
Uh-huh.
seeing that kind of manneristic stagnancy,
Okay.
that people are repeating themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, seeing that only,
Mm-hmm.
I have pledged never to do abstraction. But, when you are too much of in hatred,
Mm-hmm.
but something is there,
Mm-hmm.
which is, in that hatred also, you
Mhm.
reach to the same point where the love exists. So
Mhm.
I'll tell you how I fall in love with abstraction.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
uh, that dichotomy,
Mm-hmm.
real and the modern.
Okay.
Okay, that real and the modern
Mhm.
dichotomy is constantly hitting my mind. It is hammering my mind,
Okay.
and this hammering is what is important.
Okay.
When you're settled
Mm-hmm.
with some satisfactory answer,
Right.
then whatever you do
Mm-hmm.
will be kind of a static work.
Right.
And thanks to that, that hammering
Mm-hmm.
between real and the modern,
Mm-hmm.
that I uh, went on searching,
Mm-hmm.
and it was one fine day that I decided to take a break,
Mm-hmm.
because I felt like learning the history again myself.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So I took a break.
Mm-hmm.
In that break, I studied each and every painting,
Mm-hmm.
which and the painter's life
During Shantiniketan only.
during Shantiniketan,
Mm-hmm.
who had inspired me.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, it was Nandalal Bose,
Okay.
whose drawings have inspired me,
Mhm.
because Nandalal Bose had the capacity to, I call him an enigmatic individual,
Mm-hmm.
because he could draw, near
Mm-hmm.
two contrast things.
Mm-hmm.
That is, one is the Western realistic sense of realism,
Okay.
and the Eastern sense of transcendentalism.
Okay.
The Eastern sense of transcendentalism
Mhm.
and Western sense of empiricism,
Mm-hmm.
these both have been combined in his work,
Okay.
which is why Dr. Shivkumar
Mm-hmm.
quotes for contextual modernism in the context of Bengal School,
Okay.
which was ignored
Okay.
by the critics.
And who else, like apart from Nandalal, who else inspired you?
Yes, Nandalal, then Vinod Bihari,
Okay.
and then Rabindranath Tagore,
Okay.
and also Abhinav also inspired me, but
Okay.
not that much.
Okay.
Rabindranath Tagore,
Mm.
and Nandalal Bose,
Mm-hmm.
and then Ram Kinkar Base.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is how I, first churned up myself.
Sure, yourself.
Yeah, and then after my sabbatical was over,
Uh-huh.
I came up with a lot of drawings,
Mm-hmm.
in which I have experimented to break the academic realism.
Okay.
Now from here
Mm-hmm.
started another journey. That was my classmates changed because I came to masters then.
Right.
Then I will quote one of my friends who actually chiseled me out.
Okay.
He really chiseled me out and he made me sharper.
Okay.
I give him credit.
Okay.
He's one of the later group of radicals in
Okay.
Kerala.
Okay. What's his name?
Valsaraj KP.
Valsaraj KP. Okay.
You must be knowing him.
Right. Right.
He's a wonderful person.
Okay.
Really wonderful person. He had taught me to be critical.
Okay.
And what he meant by critical was later understood by me, that when we criticize,
Right.
criticism like always is like this,
Right.
but very few know that this is the criticism actually,
3 fingers are towards
Ah.
you also.
and leave the rest of the thing to the nature.
To nature. Okay.
Okay, so these became very important for me,
Okay.
these 3 fingers.
Okay.
So I went on into that. Later I found that Kant was the person, Immanuel Kant was a person who has introduced self-criticism as a basis of modernism.
Okay.
Yeah. And I started reading
Okay. Reading a lot.
a lot.
Okay.
And constantly I was so lucky to have right books in my hand, and I started reading between lines.
Okay. Yes, tell us more about your initiation or your entry into abstraction.
Yeah, that's really exciting me.
Okay.
During the Shantiniketan period,
Okay.
since I have been a science student,
Okay.
being a science student,
Uh-huh.
this reasoning
Uh-huh.
and feeling,
Uh-huh. Okay.
the dichotomy between real and the modern
Uh-huh.
has another reflection as reasoning and feeling.
Okay. Okay.
Because since I was in science student,
Right.
I was a science student, and I happen to be an artist or
Right.
in art.
Right.
So there is always a kind of paradox
Uh-huh.
playing.
Okay.
I already told you that the
Uh-huh.
paradox has been so importantly embedded in my life.
Right.
So that paradox will continue till my life, end of my life.
Okay.
So that now this feeling and reasoning
Uh-huh.
are actually they don't have any distinction.
Okay.
There is no demarcation from where the feeling starts and reasoning separated.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
They both go together because they are too human.
Okay. Okay.
So we do mistake when we separate feeling from the reasoning.
Okay.
And art is what? The greatest platform where this feeling and reasoning, or you can say intellection and emotion,
Okay.
both stay together.
Okay.
And they can have, they make love there
Okay.
in a way.
Okay.
So for me,
Uh-huh.
abstraction is being in that state actually.
Okay. Okay.
For me now abstraction, when I started, but before that I must tell you how things intensified. And the question that I will never understand abstraction, I wanted to prove that I will never ever, I shall never understand abstraction.
Okay.
Yeah. So there is a other side of that reality of in that statement,
Okay.
that actually abstraction is nothing to be understood.
Okay.
Then after completion of my Shantiniketan period,
Right.
I came to Hyderabad,
Okay.
from where I did a lot of paintings and exhibited with the contemporary painters at
Over
that
there.
time.
Okay.
And very seriously I was into realistic essence of the surrealism.
Okay.
And then I did a lot of paintings, and after that I came to I went to Himachal Pradesh. In Himachal Pradesh, that phase is another different phase,
Okay.
where I used to draw only. I could not
Okay.
paint because of the no space. I used to teach in schools. I was very much into children's psychology. I used to teach orphan children,
Okay.
Tibetan orphan children. And there, every situation I was thinking about this, feeling and reasoning, the
Okay.
amalgamation of feeling and reasoning,
Okay.
and abstraction.
Okay.
And then after that phase, I came to Hyderabad.
Okay.
Then after that I got married. Even anything, even for that matter, the love, falling in love,
Okay.
is part and parcel of my my understanding of abstraction.
Okay.
I never knew that it is called lived experience, quoted by Gilles Deleuze, whom I read a lot.
Okay.
He was a very important philosopher of a postmodern philosopher
Okay.
of France,
Right.
and he said that when you are living the experience, you cannot represent.
Okay.
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 So I never read this before, but I could experience this,
Okay.
and I wrote in my diary that when I am drawing a portrait,
Right.
okay, then I am actually in the realistic portrait, I am painting the dead cells of the the sitter.
Okay.
Every time I am painting the dead cells of the painter,
Okay.
sitter.
Okay.
I'm not painting the living cells of the model.
The model. Okay.
Every time I'm doing an effort to make a realistic portrait, which is actually a happening of painting a dead body.
Okay. Sound interesting. Okay.
So my challenge, the challenge I took was to paint myself, because nobody will sit for me for that much period and long time, because I do experiment.
So you painted yourself.
Yes, because nobody will sit for me. They will be bored. They will be horrified. In
Right.
fact.
Okay.
So I will not be horrified of myself.
Okay.
So I did self-portraits,
Okay.
abstract self-portraits.
Abstract self-portraits.
Yes, I did
Okay.
experiments on that.
Okay.
My logic was to paint myself alive,
Mm-hmm.
the true self, not
Okay.
the dead cell
Now the dead cells.
of the surface. No.
And that too in a abstract form.
Abstract means not in that colloquial or kind of conventional way.
Uh-huh.
Abstraction in the sense of lived experience.
Mm-hmm.
The very experience when you are unable to represent.
Okay.
The moment you start representing, you
Uh-huh.
are representing out of your collected memory.
True.
The full stop memory.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is not full stop memory. This is the recurring memory.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, you cannot finalize what you have understood. That is the state when you actually are doing abstraction.
But abstraction is something which is very vast. You can't summarize things like abstraction within few words.
Certainly, which is why that's what I'm saying, that you should be actually the valid, to paint a valid abstraction.
Mm-hmm.
You should be valid itself. You have to be validated,
Mm-hmm.
and that state of being validated
Mm-hmm.
is the state of being in the lived experience.
Okay.
Means there is no beginning, there is no end type of stance.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So for that, you have to come to that state of mind.
Okay.
It is not that which is why I question even Mondrian itself.
Okay.
I started questioning Mondrian itself.
Mm-hmm.
He had a concept,
Mm-hmm.
and with that concept he had made it. Then because of which only one Mondrian is there.
Okay.
Then we have Jackson Pollock also. Now how can you compare Jackson Pollock with Mondrian?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
And Mondrian was very much with the formalism, and Jackson Pollock was the person who had broken the formalism. There you find the kind of dissension between Greenberg and Rauschenberg.
Mm-hmm.
Rauschenberg was the one who supported the post-avant-garde, the
Okay.
post-avant-garde which was there in America.
Right.
The avant-garde was dead in Europe.
Europe.
Then it was reinvented
Reinvented over there.
in America
Anyways, right.
after the catastrophic experience, the lived experience of Second World War.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They used to paint the after images,
Mm-hmm.
because those images were so powerfully happening in their mind
Mm-hmm.
that they were not happened actually, they were happening. And which is why Mark Rothko came and Jackson Pollock came.
Mm-hmm.
This is how I used to read history.
Mm-hmm.
I discarded every nuances the way I had been taught history.
Okay.
In fact, being an academician and at the same time a practicing artist,
Mm-hmm.
I discard the way Indian art historians teach history.
Okay. I'll come to this interesting part. You are also a teacher, and you are also right now presently associated with College of Art Delhi,
Yeah.
if I'm correct. So what's your experience being a teacher? Like there is a challenge to be a good artist as well as to be a teacher, and you have to be honest with both the things.
Yeah,
So do you find it's very challenging and it's very tiring to be?
it is challenging, but interesting
Mm-hmm.
and not tiring.
Okay. Okay.
Tired are those who are self-opinionated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I am not self-opinionated.
Mm-hmm.
I am an autodidact.
Mm-hmm.
I am a didact.
Mm-hmm.
Legitimately, I am called a didact,
Okay.
but I am still an autodidact.
Okay.
And that state of being autodidact
Mm-hmm.
is what is the state which will understand an autodidact in the student.
Okay.
So I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Let me quote from my diary. that a true teacher does not produce clones,
True. Very true.
whereas he produces rivals.
Very
So
true.
I have been producing rivals,
Right.
my rivals.
Your rivals. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you're honest as a teacher, you work like that only.
Yeah, because see, I when I give the challenge to my students, I give challenge for because I don't want to boast myself.
Right.
I don't want to force myself into their dictionary.
Right.
But I am so astounded that every time it comes to my this thing,
Okay.
I never wanted myself to be an example, but I am becoming a mystery for them.
And they are trying to learn things from you, basically,
Yes,
because
yes,
obviously
because
you're a
I am
point of-
mysterious.
You're mysterious. You're a point of interest for them.
Because if I am defined,
Right.
how the hell they can be interesting towards me? Isn't
Right.
it?
Right.
So let that be. I never tried to be mysterious.
Right.
I never tried to be mysterious. It is what something is happening in my head, which I am telling, and I don't know.
Okay.
It is them who are looking at me. I am a medium,
You're a medium. Right. True.
simply a medium.
Now I'll come to
One second.
Yeah. Tell me, please.
The moment they decide that I am getting old, other day when they come, they say good morning. I am again the same age,
You're the same age.
of their age.
Right.
So they're actually astounded. Why this
It's a new day. It's
man
a
is
new
not
page.
getting old?
Yeah, it's a new day. It's a new page, and you are rewriting things again
Yes.
and again.
And it is they think that it is happening by itself. No, it is they who are making me younger and younger again.
Right.
Because I understand one thing, that see, in my diary I have written, let me quote, that is, I want to live 100 years. I want to live 100 years, but I want to die young.
Okay.
That's my wish.
Okay.
100 years, but I want to die young.
Okay.
I hate this so-called, popular understanding about being old.
Okay.
Because when I am died after young age, then that new age has come. That is old age. Okay.
Right.
Then another 100 years. Give me another 100 years.
Okay.
Huh? I want to live 200 years.
So
For another 100 years for that old age. That's more interesting.
that will be more interesting. You have so many things to do and so many things
Yeah.
to tell. Right. So I will come to that final part where I will explore your life as an artist, as a human being during this pandemic. So I will come to that. Sir, let us discuss more about your academic
Yeah.
experience, please.
Yeah, being an academician, also, I am in the kind of paradox. I feel the paradox,
Okay.
and that paradox is like when I'm teaching,
Right.
my learning is not stopped. That is on.
Okay.
Even if I want to switch off that, it has become so prominent by now that it does not stop actually. So that thing is again inspiring me to bring the history into the occurring in the instant.
At present.
Yes, the present. Because then, when I do that, then what happens? My empiricism is, it is excited.
Okay.
Okay. When my empiricism is excited and it is propelled, it is into action. So when it comes into action, history is challenged.
Okay.
Because then, why history is challenged? Because my transcendentalism is also become active by that time.
Okay.
So this empiricism and transcendentalism both came together, which is how it becomes a point of time, a state of mind, where actually you challenge the hitherto established knowledge. Okay. I just recall one of my writings.
Okay, please.
If you allow me,
Please
quote from
do.
a diary.
Please do.
To hell with the academy.
Okay.
To hell with the academy.
Okay.
If it fails to understand, that empiricism is the newer page of the academics.
Okay.
If it fails to understand that empiricism of the students is the newer page of the academics.
Okay.
This is from my diary, actually.
Okay.
Because students ask me, sir, which way should I paint? Should I paint realistic or should I paint abstract?
Okay.
So this question is not a question.
Okay.
It is the awqat of our academy, Indian Academy, where there is no mediator.
Okay.
There is no mediator who will relate them, who will transcribe them.
Okay.
The actual understanding that there is no boundary line between abstract and concrete.
True.
In fact, in
Right.
Indian dialectics, Indian understanding, Tantra Yoga, and other knowledges, our perennial knowledges, perennial wisdoms, like Veda, Upanishad and all, the very state of reasoning and feeling being together, you actually understand the abstraction inherent, which is actually bigger than what is visible. Okay. Then the abstract is actually the absolute, but we don't know absolute. If I know the absolute, there is no need of painting actually.
Okay.
So painting itself is a medium to understand the absolute.
Okay. Right. Very right.
and abstraction being part and parcel
Of that.
of that representation. So abstraction and representation are together.
Okay.
Yes, when you ask abstraction, especially abstraction in quotes, in art, then yes, it takes stalwarts like Gaitonde,
Okay.
Nasruddin Mohammadi,
Nasruddin Mohammadi. Right.
Swaminathan.
Right.
Okay, they are not just as usual abstract painters to be compared with the Western abstract painters. No, I differ from here.
Right.
These people had withstood the political sidelining, okay, by the progressive group artists.
Okay.
I claim
Mm-hmm.
that these artists
Mhm.
should have been placed forefront
Mm-hmm.
as contextual modernists. Okay, as Indian painters, Indian modern painters,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
only because
Mm-hmm.
they were
Mm-hmm.
doing abstract paintings
Mhm.
and they were blamed that
Okay.
they are doing something very spiritual and traditional. No, they are the newer strain of avant-garde, even after the American abstract expressionism.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they are the avant-garde which are reborn,
Okay.
which is why I call them reincarnation of enigmatic individuals.
Okay. Okay.